I'm a big fan of tactical RPGs, and there's a new one out there called God Wars Future Past that has thrown its hat into the ring. But is this game a tactician's dream, or does this war end in a critical defeat? God Wars Future Past is a tactical RPG that has a very old school feel. If you're familiar with tactic RPGs from the PlayStation 1 era, you'll probably feel right at home. The game story, which I won't spoil too much about, takes place in the ancient land of Mizuho. There's 3 nations, and a princess has just been sacrificed in order to try to keep peace, and another princess waiting to be sacrificed. The princess escapes and goes on a journey to figure out why she was being sacrificed and what her mother's true intentions were. Along the course of the adventure, the story starts to unfold as you meet a colorful group of different characters that end up joining your party, a lot of which I really enjoyed. A bulk of your time will be spent in the tactical battle system. Here, your group of characters face off against an enemy group. You start off by selecting which of your characters that you want to have in the battle. Different battles will have different amounts of characters that are allowed into the fight, but of course you'll end up finding your favorites and which ones you would prefer to use. When the battle begins, you'll be moving your characters, of course, in a grid square-like manner of moving space by space. Each character has a different amount of movement they'll be able to do based on their stats and type of character that they are, and of course the enemies have the same deal. There's all sorts of different attacks and skills that you'll be able to use that have longer or shorter ranges, depending upon which ones you're using. One thing I like is if one of your characters gets defeated in battle, they will actually drop on the map instead of just instantly retreating, and you'll have a certain number of turns to bring them back using either a spell or an item and bring them right back into the battle. But if their turn counter runs out while they're down, they will then end up retreating. The maps are quite big, so sometimes just traversing all the way across can take quite a few turns. This is a slower paced tactical RPG in a lot of regards. Not a whole lot of flashiness going on, that's for sure. As you battle and defeat enemies, you'll be gaining experience as well as leveling up your jobs. One of the more interesting aspects about the game is the job system in general. There's 30 or so jobs that you'll be able to equip to your characters, and you can change whichever job you want for each of them. They have a main and a potential sub-job for them, as well as some characters have their own specific job that add a few extra skills for their individuality, but you'll be able to change up their main and sub-jobs as much as you want. The only issue is, when you level up a certain job, if you decide to switch it to another one, you don't keep any of the skills you had on that other job, so switching jobs actually becomes rather pointless, so it's best to just pick one job and kind of stick with it and level up the best you can. As you're leveling up your job, you'll also earn skill points that you can put into the individual skills for that particular job, such as increasing attack, defense, or individual spells. Like with the healing spells, you'll be able to start off with like a 50% heal on allies, but you can increase it up to a total of 100% heal on allies. It'll cost you more magic, but I like this better than having just a whole bunch of different healing spells. The main map works as just pretty much a line from one point to another. Along the way, you'll have different battles that will interject themselves along with your main points that you're trying to get to, as well as some places will just be either shops and shrines. The shops will allow you to buy new equipment and items. One thing I like in the game is the try-on option, where you're able to auto-equip the best stuff for each individual character in the way that you want to portray them, whether they be a frontline attacker or frontline defender, mid-row, or a back-row character. The game gives you kind of the base objects that you should buy from this store, and you can kind of buy them in bulk. So if you're someone who doesn't really like managing equipment, this is a great option, and for the most part it picks some good stuff. You then have the shrines. Here you're able to pray to the gods for some bonus stuff for that day, as well as you're able to do side jobs. The side jobs are basically just extra little battles that you're able to do with certain other win conditions that are a great way to earn some extra items, money, as well as being able to level up your characters. The game features a well-done story that you'll be hearing before, during, and after battles. There's full voice acting as well involved. The graphics are just okay, they kind of get the job done, but they're nothing overly special. There's also a few weird animations here. For example, in cutscenes, your character's kind of moving upstairs, they kind of just teleport, which comes off as a bit awkward, but overall the graphics were okay. From the technical side of things though, the game ran smoothly. It didn't run into major glitching, crashing, or slowdown of any sort. God Wars Future Past is available now for $49.99 on PlayStation 4 and for $39.99 on the PlayStation Vita. It does have a full trophy list, including a Platinum. Overall, like I mentioned before, God Wars Future Past has a very old-school feel to it, and its movement and overall battle system. It's something that I think old-school gamers will probably feel right at home with, but if you're more keen to modern, faster-paced tactical RPGs, you may be a little put off by the title overall. There's plenty of hours of enjoyment, and I really did enjoy the characters and story and the music along with the journey. With everything said, I'm going to be giving God Wars Future Past a 7 out of 10. But anyway guys, it's going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course I hope you enjoyed.